Today I want to rank the albums of one of the most famous German heavy metal acts and bands, and I'm speaking of course about Accept, and one also of my favorite heavy metal bands. Accept started in 1976, but even before they were active even from the 60s under another name. In these years from 1968 to 76, they were known as Band X, and afterwards they changed their name to Accept. In the beginning, the founding members of them were Wolf Hoffmann, Udo, the singer of course, Hoffmann the guitarist, and the bassist Peter Battles, if I prefer his name well. Unfortunately, from all these guys, only Wolf Hoffmann, continues until now. In the band, there were also other famous members afterwards, like Herman Frank, another guitarist from X that came to the band from the band Sinner, ex-Sinner guitarist. Stephen Kaufman, the drummer, and also Stephen Schwarzman, also drummer. They were also great guys, and also today, if I'm not sure, they have the guitarist Lulis. Lulis, the guitarist of old Grave Digger. He is today in Accept lineup. From the band, they came three singers. Of course, Udo, the most famous singer of all, also of the golden period of the band, the singer of the golden era, Udo. But also we have with Udo they made 10 full-length albums, generally 7 albums in the beginning, in the golden era, and afterwards also another 3 after the reunion with Udo. From the band also came one singer, an American singer by the name David Ricci, something like that. He sang in the album Eat the Heat, in only one album that is the album that most of Accept fans hated. And also in the modern era, the new era of the band, we have the new singer Mark Tornillo that came to the band in 2009, and we can say that he is a very good style of singer that he can be not exactly like Udo, but in the same place as singers as Udo. Tornillo, he came to the band from another band by the name TT Quick, if I'm not sure. Okay, this is the periods of the band as if we're speaking about the singers, the three singers. But if we're speaking about even more specifically, the first period of the band, the most famous of them all, was from 76 until 80. I think that we can say until we can say until Russian Roulette that came out in 86, or more generally 86 or 80, I think until 88. Afterwards, Udo left the band. It was the first hiatus of the band, and that continued until 1991. Afterwards, Udo comes back. We have the comeback, the reunion with Udo of from 1992 until 1986. Udo, of course, when he left the band, he made his band by the name Udo. That's also close to the Accept sound. In the beginning, very close to the Accept sound. Until the second hiatus of the band from 1997 until 2005. And in 2009, Tornillo is the new singer, and Andy Sneap, the producer from the British band Sabbath, folkish thrash metal band Sabbath, was the man that gave the push to the band to come back with a very great comeback with the album Blood of the Nations. And now let's find out the ranking of the albums of the 17 full-length albums of them, from worst to best in my point of view. If I'm not sure, 1 minute only, if I'm not sure, Russian Roulette came out in 86, but it's the hit in 85. So maybe it was a period that we know that in the period of Russian Roulette, the connections between Udo and the other members of the band was awful. Maybe I don't remember when they made the hit if Udo was until in the band, something like that, but he didn't sing in this album. I'm not very sure, but let's find out about the 17 albums of them in general. So in the number 17 here I will put the last album of them of 2024, Humanoid. And unfortunately for me, this is the most disappointed album. I am very disappointed about this album, the most awful album of them. I don't know why, but this is not the real sound of Accept. Not because it's different, not because of this. This is not the case like Eat the Hit, because it's so generic as an album of Accept, unfortunately. Humanoid, 2024, the 17th album, the last album of them. Only Hoffman is in this album, the only founding member. Now, in the 16th place, their debut album of 1979, the original and some of our album Accept by the same name. This is the not so bad album, but the songs here are not so famous, not so wow, let's say. They have these strong influences from AC/DC and from Judas Priest. This is not bad, but afterwards Accept will be even more special to their sound. In the 15th place, their 8th album of them, and yes, maybe I'm not, maybe I made the mistake. It's not 85. It's afterwards. It's afterwards, not 85. I made a mistake. Let's find out when it came out. 1989, of course, 89. Eat the Hit. The problem here is not only the singer. The American singer of them, is not a bad singer. The problem is the sound of the album. It's a little bit more glam metal. This is not Accept. Except of the first song, Ecstasy, that is a killer. All the other songs, they're not bad, but this is not an Accept album, unfortunately. Now, in the 14th place, their 15th album of them of 2017, The Rise of Chaos. This is a little bit, okay, one of the same of the modern albums of them, but one of the same, not something so special, but not so, but it's not bad album. 13th place now, with their 11th album of them of 1996, Predator. Yeah, Predator. This is also the last 10th album with Udo. The last album with Udo of them. The album of the last also of the reunion period with Udo, of the 3 albums of the reunion. And this is not exactly something special also. Maybe because also in these years the heavy metal sound, the traditional heavy metal sound, is not exactly so famous. We have other famous styles in this year, in these years of the 90s: alternative metal, groove metal, grunge, black metal, power metal, Euro power metal. Okay, in Europe especially. Predator is okay, but not something even more than that. Now in the 12th place, their 14th album of 2014, Blind Raids, also of the modern era of them. Not a bad album, a very good album, but also okay. It's an okay album. Now, 11th place. And here I will put their 7th album of them of 1986, Russia Roulette. The last album of Udo of the golden era of them. And yes, the problems in these years were very, as I said, very strong between Udo and the other members of the band, between Hoffman. You know, here we have, it's a little bit heterogenic album, in the way that you have very good songs here, like Aiming High. It's a great song, but also songs that are generic, unfortunately. But also the cover art is one of the best cover arts of them ever. Now, in the 10th place for me will come their 10th album of them also, of 1994, and the second album of the reunion period with Udo, Death Row. Okay, the same thing like Predator. I think that Death Row is a little bit even more, but I prefer it more. It's a little bit better than Predator. And here we are coming to the 9th place with their 16th album of them of 2021, Too Mean to Die. One album before the last, before Humanoid. And this album is one of my favorite albums of the modern period of them. Great album from the beginning to the end. And for this reason, I'm so pissed about Humanoid, the next album of this album, that this is, after some years, this is not the same way as here. Very good album. And I'm continue now with their 8th place, with their 13th album of them of 2012, Stalingrad, also a very good modern album of them. I think that is in the same way like Blood of the Nations, but because it came out after Blood of the Nations, is a little bit less than the album before it. 7th place with their second full-length album, and I'm speaking about the album I Am a Rebel of 1980, the beginning of the 80s. Now, this album also is a little bit with ups and downs, you know. I Am a Rebel also was a very good song of them that it was written by AC/DC, and they sold it to Accept. You know, also here ups and downs, but it's a historical album, and also the song The King, if I'm not sure, Battles, the bassist of the band, sang this song in this album. I am a Rebel. Also, the worst cover art of them ever. Now, sixth place for me will come their ninth album of them of 1993 and the first album of the reunion with Udo, Objection Overruled. A little bit more groove. Okay, it was also the years of the groove metal. Yeah. Very, very good album with Udo as their reunion singer of them. Reuniting singer of them. Now I'm coming to the fifth place of them, and maybe some people will not agree with me, but here we'll put their sixth album of them of 1985, Metal Heart. Yeah, I know, it's a historical album of them, one of the greatest. Many people will put it even in more high place. Also for me, here you can find very good and marvelous songs here, like Metal Heart, and also some songs that are a little bit more generic. You know something? Also, Metal Heart. This is one of the great hymns of the band. Also because this is something that I liked all the way with Hoffman, the guitarist Hoffman. That he plays. He can play. He can put his classical musical education inside the riffs and the solos of the songs of him and of Accept. Also, the cover art is very famous. Not a so good cover art, but so I can say so special that many people see this and straight for they remember Accept. Now, fourth place, one of the killer albums of them, and the album that it was because of this album the band came. They made the very big comeback of them. The 12th album of them of 2010, Blood of the Nations. Yeah, the first album with Mark Tornillo as the singer. Great album. And also the song Teutonic Terror became also one of the most famous songs of all time of Accept. Yeah, great album from the beginning to the end. Now, third place. Here I will put their third album of them of 1981, and I'm speaking about Breaker. Breaker. Now, this album for me is even more good and better than Metal Heart because most of the songs here are great. Starlight, Breaker, Run If You Can, Son of a Beats, Burning, and also here we have two songs that Battles, the bassist sang them, Midnight Highway and Breaking Up Again. And you can see also the High Wire here. And many of their cover arts in these years of Accept, they are a little bit provocative, like also the cover arts of their countrymen Scorpions, also of this period of time. But here in the Breaker album, you can see in the back the two Flying V guitars with also the high wired, and they took the same idea a little bit more extreme in the next album in the cover art. And now here I'm coming now to speak about the second and the first album in my point of view, and I am a little bit confused because for me these two albums they are very close to each other. So today maybe I will say this is in the second place and this is in the first place. Afterwards, maybe another day I will put them in the upside down places. But in any case, in the second place, their fourth album of 1982, Restless and Wild. Yes, they took the two Fly V guitars and now they burned them. Also, my footer here, the backwards, I have Restless and Wild. The songs here, Fast as a Shark, one of the best and one of the first also speed metal songs and that came to even so earlier of its time, and opened the door for speed and thrash metal afterwards. Restless and Wild, of course, ahead of the pack, Shake Your Heads, Neon Nights. I can speak also about the last song of the album. That for me was one of the greatest hymns of them, Princess of the Dawn. And as you understand, in the first place, their fifth album of them, of 1983, Balls to the Wall, with also the controversial cover art and the controversial songs as Balls of the Wall and London Leather Boys. But in any case, this is, for me, together with Restless and Wild, their two masterpieces of them. Songs like Balls to the Wall, also a great hymn of them. London Leather Boys, Fight It Back, Head Over Heels, Love Child, Losers and Winners, a great album from the beginning to the end. So the first place, Balls to the Wall. This is my ranking about the 17 full-length albums of Accept, of the German act Accept, one of the best heavy metal bands of this period of this country. From Israel, from Jerusalem, stay metal and stay heavy.